I pray and you mock, I'm walking off again.
I'm not going to mock. I don't know I'm not make fun of it.
Yes.
Okay, let me go get some water.
Are you going to mock this prayer?
You're mocking it by laughing.
I'm not mocking it, but
Was
I know.
he not mocking
Stop. He's using comedy to deflect.
No, who's a mockingbird?
Hold your shoulder.
Please.
Okay.
God, can I do this?
Absolutely. Okay. God,
Welcome in, everybody, to Big Matt Podcast channel here. Got a big story for you going on right here. George Janko finally has Bobby Lee on the show. We're going to talk about that. Okay. Now, first of all, you want to be nice, and I don't want to say rude things, or I'm trying to take it serious, but knowing Bobby Lee, you just know he's a comedian. And if you don't know the past between the two, George, he worked on the podcast with Logan Paul and Implosive. And Bobby was very rude to him, extremely rude. And George handled it way better than I would, being my crazy redneck self from Alabama. I would have, we would have, me and old boy would have gotten a fight. I'm just saying. He exposed himself to him. It's like trying to put his junk up on his face and just saying weird stuff to him, and kept kind of grabbing at him, and that kind of stuff. And it's just, but that's how Bobby is. And you can go back and watch the full interview and they talk about it on and off for a little bit. First 10 minutes, so they get into it. And I don't know if Bobby's just kind of deflecting into the, situation that either he said he just don't really remember. So either one, he's just deflecting. He knows what he done. And he does feel bad about it because he's been called out in front of a lot of people now because George has got a very popular podcast. And I'm going to get the negative stuff out of the way first. And he knows that with all of that being said, that George's successful podcast gets a lot of views. So he can try to prop his podcast up. So is he being, for real? And if he is, I think it's great. I mean, it's wonderful, for people to make mistakes, call themselves out on it, and say, right up front, I was wrong. And if I made you feel a certain way, I apologize. And through the podcast, they kind of talk a little bit and kind of get into, he said he don't really know George that well. He know Logan better. And just to kind of say, he's kind of learning George and vice versa. And George kind of learning Bobby, them, learn each other. And he says toward the end, there's boundaries. There's things that you don't think's funny. Bobby's telling George this. And maybe, we'll figure this out. And they talk about doing a podcast together later on, which I think is probably, I don't know, man. Those kind of people like him, he's like Bobby Lee. I would really have to be around him a lot to trust him enough to want to do a podcast with him, because he's just one of those kind of people. I feel like we all know somebody that way that's kind of just they're in a storm, and you love them, man, and you like being around them some, but they're just the kind of person that you just can't be around a lot because they're just toxic. There's just toxic people, and they're your friends. You may have family that way. So first reaction, I would very much be on the negative side of wanting to do a podcast with Bobby Lee, because he's just don't take things very serious at all. Okay. He's a comedian. Again, I keep saying that, but this is just a very hot topic, and that's what this show is. Like the video, give me a thumbs up on if you like it. If you don't, tell me what you don't like. I appreciate the feedback. So I'll play the video, and all that I just said is just to kind of set up where we're at. Now, in seriousness, as you've seen on the intro part, Bobby asked him to pray with him, and they kind of tit-tat there for a minute, and you're like, are you serious? No, are you being serious? We're ready to do this now if you want to. So again, I'll throw this negative out of the way, so I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. I'm just not sure about Bobby, either if he's serious about, what he's really doing, that he really believes that George praying with him has some effect. Now he says through the podcast, you go back and watch it, that like a lot of people, they believe in God, but they just have a trouble with the Jesus dying and being resurrected. I did this on a show about a few days ago. I'll put it up here at the end. The supernatural part of Christianity. But on the good side, does God hear prayers from unsaved people? I've had this question come across me as a youth minister. Yeah. I mean, how could you be saved if God didn't hear prayers of sinners? Because we're all sinners. And until we admit that we're sinners and believe Christ died on the cross and rose from the dead, and confess with our mouth that Christ is Lord, and we need him in our life, and that's the stepping point that we have to make to start a journey of trying to follow that destination of having life after, because Christ defeated death for us, and he came again to make us closer with him. That's kind of the setup, and they're going to pray, and then we hit a verse here, and I really would wish I could get 1,000 people to watch this and get 1,000 comments, and I would just like to see what other people think. Is Bobby joking? I heard somebody say, well, I bet Logan bet him $1,000. Yeah, I'll give you $1,000. If you can get George to pray on your knees live on the show, I'll give you $1,000, bro. It'll be so hilarious. That feels like something Logan would do. Now, is that true? I have no idea. I'm just playing both sides of this. I hope that it's sincere, because we all need prayer, and Bobby does too. And we're all going through something. And they talk about having money and how money don't fix problems, and sometimes it just makes them worse, and it shows the true character of people. So I hope that it's true. Let's get over here to the video, and we'll get started, and just watch this little part, and tell me what you think about it.
I truly believe in God. I really do.
The best thing we could do?
I don't want to sit and pray with you.
You should.
All right.
No, I'm being so serious, bro, because we could even do like a.
Let's do it now, though.
Okay. Well, I'll start it out.
Then we got to get our hands, get on our knees.
I can't mock a prayer.
I'm not mocking it. That's how I pray. I don't pray without getting on our knees.
I'll pray on my knees, but I just, if we're going to pray, we can't mock it.
We're not mocking it.
All right.
We have to get on our knees. That's how I pray.
Okay, but if I pray and you mock, I'm walking off again.
I'm not going to mock. I don't know I'm not make fun of it.
Yes.
Okay, let me go get some water.
To defend George there, he's kind of got a little snicker, and he's wanting to get his mic, and which he didn't need. He got really put on the spot right there, and he was kind of nervous. I would have been too, because of the history that they've had. Okay. And people laugh when they get nervous. And I think, George was probably like, I can't believe, wow. I mean, this is really happening right here. I don't think he was mocking. I don't think he was. And Bobby didn't seem to be, honestly, neither. He didn't seem to be. If he did, then if this is just a joke or a bet between him and some friends to see if he could get George to do this, and it don't mean anything to him, then, he's got to deal with that.
Grab my mic.
Wait, stop. You're mocking.
You're
laughing.
Are you going to mock this prayer?
You're mocking it by laughing.
I'm not mocking it, but I know.
Not mocking
Stop. He's using comedy to deflect.
No, who's a mockingbird?
He pointed at you.
You think so? I'm mocking it? He was laughing.
So, you can take that for whatever you think. However you think that kind of went down there. Was Bobby mocking or not?
All right. Hi. All right. I like this.
You're not going to face the camera?
No, it's between me, you, and God.
Can I face the camera?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was what made me. I'm trying to be like some FBI agent, like analyzing every detail of what he's saying, his body language. Maybe I just need to stop. Maybe, he's like, look, I need to face the camera. Can I face the camera? Like, why does that matter? I mean, but Matt, you got to not do that, because Bobby Lee is a infant, a brand new child. We're hoping that is accepting the teachings of Christ here, that it could put him on a journey to and what George was trying to do, what I try to do also. And George is really good. Okay. He's got his stuff together and he does good podcasts. I'm not saying mine's better than his or that or nothing like that. But we all have, spiritual things, how we like to give to people. And he likes to pray with people. And if this can put Bobby on a journey to a new beginning, then I mean, first of all, and I should have said up front that I think it's great. Are you kidding me? I mean, to lead anybody to Christ. And what I was going to say about one podcast or another, the difference, what me and him both do, what we have in common, we're both children of God. I assume that he is by, what he says and how he acts. I don't know his heart. He don't know mine, or you don't know my heart either. Or you vice versa. But we want to create curiosity. Most people, if you can just, live the actions and not just say it, but how we live and what we do, you're like, well, man, what has he got? He's got this different way. I want to know about that. I'm curious of what has he got that I don't? What am I missing here? And you want to create curiosity in people to have a moment like this.
Tommy, could you get Tommy out of here?
Yeah, I like Tommy.
That's kind of fun. One of the producers' name's Tommy, and the dog's Tommy also. That's kind of funny.
All right.
We don't hold hands.
I could hold your shoulder.
Please.
Okay.
Can I do this?
Absolutely. God, I know that you brought us here for a reason, and I appreciate it. And Lord, I'm so excited that I made a good friend today. I ask that today that his eyes and ears are open to you. And I pray that not only could he have a sober heart.
The girl.
This is something that where we all, everybody does it. Okay. Be honest. Okay. This is the truth. This is where we share truth here. It's you treat God like he's a genie in the bottle. I mean, do that. I mean, just be honest. Lord, I really need this. Make this happen for me. If you can create a miracle, then I'll believe. And he kind of does that a little bit later. But if God just gives you all the miracles and these signs, wonder, I mean, Christ, when he was here, he did do miracles. He also said that if you just do everything for everybody, then you're not really believing in me. You're more believing in me, like as a magic guy, than why I'm really here. I'm really here to leave the Holy Spirit teachings of what I know, what I am, to you guys, the disciples, our disciples. That's why when you pray for something like this and then it don't come true and you're like, well, I told you God ain't real. Well, your time frame and the inventor, the orchestra of the entire universe, as we know everything and how it is. Again, I'm not judging. I got to stop doing that. He's new, and I hope this sets off something for Bobby Lee. And I hope everybody out there is watching will pray for him also.
I pray that Bobby finds a woman that blows him off of his feet and that finds something that's a companion and shows true love. That way he could truly understand where love comes from, Lord. And I believe that you are love. God, I hope that you don't see this in a mockery. I see a man that's truly calling out to you. And I pray that he finds you and that from there, his fruits are so, so, so heavenly that he just wants to share that with the world.
And, that's a good prayer. God, this is a situation and everybody's heart, the feeling of the room, what's going on here. I pray that you can intervene here and help him on his journey and help him in his fruits and that he would want to share those fruits of the world. That's what God wants us to do, in his words. And, George is saying, what we are to be deacons and baptized people in his name. That's what we're to do. And that's kind of what he's saying. Maybe we hope this would take some kind of hold. And all George can do is create curiosity with Bobby, and that he would go study and read and pray more himself and learn and just go on a journey. But he has to know, and I'm sure they'll talk off camera, this don't mean it gets easy. Man, can be really, I've told, other people this has been saved and been around them. They're new believers. Man, it's really just kind of going to get hard now, because when temptations seem like they're not there, then you're playing for the wrong team. Does that make sense? But when the other team's messing with you, you're in their head. Okay? And evil wants to be a part of us. It's in our flesh. It's what we are as humans here on earth. And when you start trying to pull away from that and be more spiritual, it's harder, because you're trying to grow spiritually away from a mature fleshly body that's been used to doing things a certain way a long time.
In your name I pray, amen.
Let's go, though.
I like that, bro.
Yeah, that was nice. Okay.
Who would have ever thought I'd pray with Bobby Lee on a
That was nice.
podcast?
Did I mock?
Never.
Did I mock?
No, he didn't. I don't think he did.
Yeah, I don't mock, dude.
Bro,
Yeah.
you know what's crazy?
Be careful what this else is.
Thank you. I really believe you're about to find something amazing. And
Okay, I was saying,
No,
if
no,
it
no.
happens,
yeah,
I will equate it to this.
you know what?
I'll connect it to this.
I promise you, because I'm going to tell you a story, a quick little story from the
I
Bible.
love stories.
Okay.
That's a good story.
It's a Bible story?
Yeah. It's
But
a
Bobby
parable.
kind
Can I just say this?
of goes back and forth,
Okay.
gets off topic. I'll try to get to it
Jesus
here.
is walking by, and she in her heart goes, all I need to do is touch his clothes.
Yeah,
and I
you
know
know
I'll
the
be
story.
healed." And so she touches him, and she gets healed immediately.
Yeah.
And he feels power leave him. So he turns around, and he goes, who just touched me? And she goes, I did. And she cowered and she got scared. She goes, I'm so sorry. And he kneels over and he says, it was your faith that healed you. So have great faith, Bobby. The woman is on her way.
It's good. I can dig it, man. I hope. I mean, who wouldn't hope? Is anybody of the faith, would hope that, that moment that they had there for a few minutes was sincere and will be an awakening to Bobby. And it can be. And in situations like this, God knows your heart, and he knows where Bobby's at personally in his mental state and what he's got going on. Does it mean like is this not going to happen? God's not going to let it happen, because Bobby kind of makes the idea that, well, if it don't happen, then, but he said, if this happens, I'm going to remember this moment and I'll know that it's real. And what George did, he referred there to this story to the lady. She was having lady problems. And Christ tried to tell the lady, it wasn't from you touching my garments that, pull on the robe. It was your faith in believing that just in her head, she's saying, well, if I could just touch his robe, I would be healed. And she believed it so much through himself and who he is. It happened, not because of touching the cloth, but because of where her spirit was and how she had aligned her spirit with Christ. And that's what he's trying to tell Bobby. And he don't kind of understand it a little. He kind of asked him, like, so he felt his power. Oh, she took his power like Rogue on X-Men, And before the prayer, he's like, can you make it a little more cultural fitting, or, make it a little more modern, present time story, and not do the these and thous. And again, that's just kind of his personality. He's just kind of being funny. Is it a time for that? Probably right then. No, not for me. But man, I've been doing this a long time, a long time. 40 years, almost 40 years, to first time opening the Bible and reading it and understanding and trying to figure out where I fit in all this. So anyway, I'm not going to spend much more time on this, and it's about as long as I like to, 20, 30 minutes. I just like to come on here and share a big story with you guys. And I hope it brings some curiosity somewhere. And I hope that somebody may watch it and go, well, you know what, Bobby Lee, good gracious, man. I mean, he's crazy. It could set something in motion that could change the world. You just don't know who God's going to use. Man, he could use you. And you think, well, I'm a drug addict and, you know, I stay drunk a lot, or I have a problem cussing, I have a problem with. God will take you just how you are. You can't get clean to come to be clean. It's like washing your car out in the driveway and then taking it down here to the car wash. And that's not how it works. That's not what you need to do. Okay. So know this. In The Blind, the movie, again, I've said this about twice, the movie, Phil's talking to the preacher there toward the end of the movie. He's like, I'm just out here fishing, making money to buy beer and stuff. I'm not worthy to, you know, this, you tell me about God. And of course he knew about God growing up where he grew up and that kind of stuff. But he thought he had to get right. And the preacher told him it's a journey. It's a process of climbing this mountain, you know, but becoming a better version of yourself spiritually. And Christ is going to meet you. Okay. You know, the footsteps, everybody's mama all had, mine did. My granny had this little picture in her dining room there, and it was the footsteps on the sand, you know, it's like there's only one set of footprints, but, you know, God was with me because he's carrying you through these things. That's what he's there to do. God loves you, and he wants to have a relationship with you. And if you're not sure, I'm telling you, he does. There's no doubt about it. He made every one of us exactly how we are, beautiful in our own way. And that's why Christ returned, to have that connection again that we lost a long time ago. Adam and Eve blew it. And then we went through a lot of hard times trying to figure it out and give them laws and rules and all this stuff, and they still can't figure it out. There's more to it than just keeping laws or rules. Those things are great, and they help keep us in line to what we're supposed to do. But they will not save you. There's no salvation in that. You can read the Bible front and back and know every word of it. Well, so does the demons in hell. You don't think Satan don't know it? Of course Satan knows the Bible inside and out. He was around when it was all written. I mean, when the Spirit was on these people and the Bible was being written, he's always been around. He knows it. So don't feel like you have to know all the Bible and, well, you know, before I can even go to church, before I can even, or not even that, before I can even be saved, Lord, I'm just not worthy. Just start praying. Just close your eyes, and whatever you're doing, you don't have to close your eyes. Just start thinking about God and receiving a message from him and cleaning your soul and becoming a better version of you tomorrow that you were today. Every day, try to be a little bit better than you was yesterday. Okay? So nobody's 10 out of 10. There was only one. And he wasn't in any retail business or delivery service or anything. He was a carpenter and son of a carpenter. He kept all those things perfect. So you didn't have to. But we do strive to do that. Okay? So if anything I can help you with, just let me know. Y'all have a wonderful day. And God loves you. And I love you. If something I can do, again, holler at me, comment, message me, whatever I can do, just let me know. Okay. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.